Now, the little story that I want to tell you is about a huge fire. And all the animals came out of the forest, not feeling like they can do anything, except this little hummingbird. The little hummingbird said, I'll do something. It flew to the nearest stream, took a drop of water, came and put it on the fire. And all this time, the other animals are discouraging it. They're saying, you can't do anything, give up. And tired of being discouraged, when they said, who do you think you are? What do you think you're trying to do? And the little bird turned to them and said, without wasting time, I'm doing the best I can.
We are trying to bring about change in society. There are certain things that we need to change. Power is used to take away other people's lives. We need to change.
When your mother puts food on a plate, look at the plate of your father and look at the plate of your mother. What does your father's have? If there was a chicken slaughtered, the chest and the leg. And the mother? The neck. The neck. The neck and the wings. Even the head. Yeah, look at your brother, your sister.
They'll be cruel to nature, they'll be cruel to human beings in order to get money. Money in order to have control over people, things, resources. The work that I do requires a lot of courage because you're going to challenge. Sometimes people hold their culture very, very dearly and they're very protective of their culture. And sometimes they can even kill you if you say something that's offensive to their culture.
You feel there is nothing you can do. Either you feel you don't have the political power, you don't have the economic power, you don't have the gun, so you feel disempowered, and you feel like you can do nothing.
They are there, they have ideas, but if you don't ask them to open their mouths, then you do the wrong things and you don't help the family because they are the ones who worry about the real needs of the family. So if you involve them, everybody in the family stands to benefit because what the women think about is really what affects the totality of the humanity.
Women have been playing an important role. She is really the backbone of the family, and beyond that for the society, and beyond that for a nation.
We women tired. We go to farm, have children, more children. We come back home, prepare food, doing everything. The man not going to help you. And they said, turn yourself to me. But you women, you didn't feel love from that sexual activity. Then he get feelings from it and sleep. And you too, you sleep there, suffering.
Because of the inequality in position in the house, she is almost helpless. The man comes and goes. The man tells her what to do. She cannot even open her mouth. When he says jump, you jump. Then what does she do? Leave her husband or beat him or what? She couldn't do either of that. Helplessness allows him to bring in the disease to her too. And so she sits in her house, minds her own business, is a faithful wife, but then she gets the disease anyway because the man goes out and comes and she has no power to tell him that if you're flirting, then use a condom.
Have you ever had a man saying, I'm a house husband? Have you ever had a man say that he doesn't work? Never, never, never. Even if he's poor completely and actually doesn't work, he is going to modify and beautify what he does because they are socially expected to behave like that. So we need to change the whole society.
Many women do not have access to money. They will live for 6 months without touching a coin. So their source of livelihood is nature. So if you don't have women being incorporated largely to understand how to deal with nature, then really we are not going anywhere. So we've been socialized to understand development as this thing that you build. Development could be just protecting what you already have.
It's extremely important that our women, our mothers and all that must be supported, and their situation must change by law in Africa. Otherwise, Africa will have a very difficult future, if not a future at all.
If I was born in the West and I never went to Africa, I would think Africa has no hope because of what we hear, of course, what is published, because of the wars. But when you are in Africa itself, you are able to know that something can be done and there's hope.
But it's also possible to empower yourself, to give yourself energy, understanding, courage to guide your own life.
We are all poor, but we are all rich also, because we all have something, and that something should be contributed in whatever form. And then you even feel good about yourself.
Everybody in the world does not believe in fairness. Everybody in the world does not believe in equity. Everybody in the world does not believe in respecting the rule of law, respecting justice, respecting the other people's rights, the other species' rights. But if there are enough of us who do, we can create a more peaceful world, because we shall not give too much space to those who do not want to respect the rule of law, or those who do not want to respect other people's rights.
You want people to change. And it's not a physical change that you want them to make. It's an attitude change. And people are comfortable with doing things a certain way. So when it comes to saying that, let's change this, then it requires a lot of courage, because you'll be seen, first of all, as moving from the ordinary and the normal thing that you should be doing. And you want people to do something abnormal at that time. So it actually requires a lot of courage.
The husband left her, so she had no money, but she's so happy that she has the money now. She's saying that she's so happy, she doesn't even want to go in for another man. She's now married to the hunger project.
Courage is being able to challenge a norm or taking a risk, sometimes to the extent of even putting your own life to risk. Things that are natural, then they are just like that. You can't change them. You have to deal with them the way they are.
The family of Jesus Christ, that the plan of salvation started from Abraham. Is it true?
Yes. Yes.
But in terms of culture, tradition, religion, these things change all the time because they are decisions that are made by people. And you can change that. We have the power to change that.
My entry point is destruction of the environment. But wherever I see the destruction of the environment, I see that in long term, not today, not tomorrow, but in long term, there will be a problem. Therefore, I start to advocate for better management of the environment. Sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's religion, but these are excuses. The real reason is the resource. We need to be urged, encouraged to stop thinking in blocks and to be more holistic.
Of course, even in Africa, there are certain things which still happen because of what happened during slavery. But I think that one shouldn't be even, to us, right now, shouldn't be an issue to talk about. Certain things happen, but they shouldn't be excuses for not doing things. Because when somebody is guilty about something, they cannot act. So I wouldn't want the West to feel guilty, and I don't want the Africans or people from the other side to feel to blame. Why did this happen? No. I think things happen in social, in development or wherever, even in families. Before you settle, sometimes there are conflicts. I think we should just stand and say now, make a conscious decision and say, what can be done? And we do it. A mother in the United States would love her children to live in a good environment. And a woman in Africa also who loves her children to live a good, life in future. And if nothing is done by this woman who lives in a privileged position right now to support the woman in Africa, these two children in the future are going to meet and they are going to be a problem to each other. So what I see is that both the privileged woman here and the one in Africa should work together to see what can be done to properly settle this situation, to remove these conditions that keep us, in conflict.
You see, people give because they have their own interests also. And I think most of the funding that comes has attachments, conditions, which don't always make sense, but which our leaders agree with and accept because they feel they have to get it. And so we keep taking it, but because we are also getting it for free, it doesn't make us utilize it maybe for the best of intentions.
If you really come to see the depth of the interaction between peoples in the world, there is no one people who gives to the other one way only. It's give and take, or it's each of us learn from the other.
Politicians have a tendency to hold their opinion and to hold their point of view and to pursue political power at anything, at the cost of everything. But that can only lead to conflict.
Whenever they support Africa to be self-reliant, in the final analysis, they are also contributing to the rise of a new society, a new world, a new planet where no human being suffers from hunger and poverty. And if you want to talk in a business language, a rich Africa could be a very good market. So by having a certain part of the planet being very poor and the other rich, it does not help. It creates conflict.
Whichever position we hold in life, we will always find problems. We will always find a situation that is less than the way we would want it. When you really understand a problem and you can see the solution to that problem, what do you do? Do you sit? Or do you take action? Taking action is a demonstration of courage. What do you do about it? What do you do about it? If you understand the problem and you can see a solution and you don't take action, I doubt that you can sleep peacefully.